Welcome to True Crime Repo. Today we have an absolutely incredible story of survival, one that really makes you question everything you think you know about the human will to live.
We're talking about Natascha Kampusch and her story of surviving 3,096 days locked away in a secret cellar. But this isn't just a story about being trapped. Oh no, this is an explainer on the psychological war that was fought and ultimately won inside that tiny hidden room.
Let's just start with this number, 3,096. I want you just to let that sink in for a second. That's 8.5 years. That's how many days Natascha Kampusch was a prisoner after being snatched off the street when she was just a 10-year-old kid. And after all that time, her one shot at freedom, it all came down to a few seconds on August 23, 2006. It was like the universe just aligned for a moment. A vacuum cleaner was on, making a racket. Her captor gets a phone call, so he's distracted. And for some reason, for once, the garden gate is unlocked. She saw her chance, and she didn't think twice. She just ran.
So imagine this scene. A pale, scared young woman just bursts out onto the street, desperately banging on windows, begging anyone who will listen to please call the police. And just like that, a little girl who had vanished from the face of the earth 8.5 years ago was back.
And that, right there, is the huge question we're going to unpack. How did a child not only survive years of total isolation and abuse, but somehow find the mental toughness to grab that one single chance to escape? Well, the answer is just a masterclass in psychological survival.
Okay, so to understand how she fought back, you first have to understand the world he created for her. I mean, it was a world that was literally designed to make her disappear completely.
So it all started on March 2nd, 1998. Natascha was just 10 years old. It was the very first time she was walking to school all by herself. And this man, Wolfgang Prikopo, he just grabs her, throws her in a van. The first few days, total darkness. No light, no human contact, nothing but the sound of a fan. And that was just the beginning of an 8.5-year nightmare.
And this was her entire world. Not even a room, really. It was a tiny prison cell, only about 5 square meters. To put that in perspective, that's barely bigger than a king-size bed. And it was buried deep underneath the garage of his house in a normal suburb. This is where he planned for her to live and die, completely unknown to the world. And get this, the amount of planning that went into this place is just chilling. It was completely windowless and soundproofed. The door was made of reinforced concrete and steel, and it was hidden behind a cupboard. It was like a tomb, a prison inside a prison, engineered so that nobody could ever find her. But here's the amazing part of the story. While her body was trapped in that room, her mind started fighting a secret war. This is how she used her own brain, not just to cope, but to actively fight back. Now, to really get her strategy, you gotta know about something in psychology called attachment theory. It's actually really simple. It's that natural built-in need every kid has to form a bond with a parent or a caregiver to feel safe. It's how we survive. Well, Natascha's caregivers were gone, but her kidnapper was right there. So what does this brilliant 10-year-old girl do? She instinctively starts to rebuild a normal parent-child routine. She asked him to read her bedtime stories, to tuck her into bed, even for a goodnight kiss. You see, she was forcing him to see her as a child who needed care, not just as a thing he owned. This was her first move in a life-or-death psychological chess game.
You can really picture it like this. On one side, you have his weapons, horrible physical abuse, starvation, mind games. But on the other side, you have her defenses, creating a rich world inside her head, tiny little acts of rebellion, and an incredibly powerful vision of her own future.
Prikopo was an engineer, and he even set up an intercom system that went from his room all the way down to her cellar. He could talk to her, listen to her, control her anytime he wanted. It created this invisible prison. Even when he wasn't there, the threat that he was listening controlled her every move. He was literally trying to get inside her head.
But her mind was stronger. When she was just 12 years old, something absolutely incredible happened. She had this super vivid vision of herself at 18 years old. And this future Natascha, she spoke to her. She made her a promise. I will get you out of here. That vision, that strong future version of herself, became her secret friend, her source of hope that kept her going for 6 more years. Now, when she finally escaped, you'd think it would be a simple, happy ending. But the reality of her freedom was so much more complicated, and honestly, the public just wasn't ready for it.
On the exact same day that Natascha ran for her life and found freedom, her captor, Wolfgang Pricklopil, ended the game his way. He went to a nearby train track and jumped in front of a train, committing suicide. He left no note, no answers, just 1,000 questions.
And then, Natascha said something in an interview that just shocked everyone. When she was asked about Pricklopil's death, she said, "I mourn for him." People were completely baffled. I mean, how could a victim possibly mourn for their abuser?
People just could not wrap their heads around the complicated psychological bond that she had to form just to survive. Instead of getting empathy, she got suspicion. So many people just slapped the label Stockholm Syndrome on her, basically dismissing her own experience. Crazy conspiracy theories started spreading. The world wanted a simple, broken victim, and she refused to be one.
But Natascha did not survive for 3,096 days just to let other people write her story for her. No way! In the years after her escape, she started taking back control of her own life, of her own narrative, piece by piece.
She explained her feelings with this incredibly powerful line. And really, this is the key takeaway. She completely rejected all the labels. She said that trying to find some kind of normalcy, even in the middle of a horrible crime, isn't some syndrome. It's a survival strategy.
And she didn't just say it, she lived it. She wrote her own best-selling book, 3,096 Days, telling her story in her own words. For a little while, she even hosted her own TV talk show. And then, in what might be the ultimate act of taking back control, she was given ownership of the house where she was held captive. She visits it sometimes just to make sure it never becomes some kind of twisted tourist trap. She took back every single piece of her story. Her story really leaves us with a deep question, doesn't it? We usually think of survival as just, the physical act of staying alive. But what Natascha Kampusch shows us is that true survival is also about winning the war inside your own head, and then finding the strength to own your story after it's all over. And that's our story for today on True Crime Repo. Natascha Kampusch's experience is just such a powerful reminder that survival goes so much deeper than just the physical. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology behind these incredible true stories. Thanks for watching.